Hello, 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 everybody. How's it going? Jen Hart here. And if you don't know me, say hello, introduce yourself. Where are you watching from? Happy to have you here. And if you're returning, hello. Very happy to have you here and see your face again. Say hello and tell us how you're doing. Are you catching the replay? Are you catching this live? I'd love to hear about it. And I like to see where people are tuning in from. So you can always write in there, where are you located in the world on the map. Anyways, if you don't know me, I consider myself a connector. I have realized that my gift is in connecting. And it's so funny because we're all connectors, right? But this is just like one of my superpowers. I love to do it. It comes so easy, so natural to me. I've always been a natural networker and a relationship builder. And now, since I've been on my exploration journey of myself and self discovery, I realized that when I wanted to start a business, I was really good at connecting. And so I've now built a business around that. So, what I do, how I connect people, is I'm like, this is a different approach than what I usually say. This is why I'm kind of like blah, but apparently I need to mix it up today. So I service two groups of people. Explorers is this is who I was when I first started my journey a long time ago, and it's just anybody that's on a path of personal development, self exploration, self discovery, wanting to improve something in their life, maybe find more peace, more joy, more happiness through personal development. That's how my journey has been. And then I service guides. These are healers, coaches, therapists, anybody that services the explorers and is wanting to expand their business, their reach, their visibility. Maybe they want community and support in their business. And together, we are the Connected Soul Network, which is made up primarily of events. I'm super excited because there's so many events coming up. There's a couple events left for this year. And then starting in January, I believe I already have like 40 events scheduled for the year. And if you're a member, you get to attend for free. If you are not a member, that's okay too. You are so welcome. And it's $15 for each event at this point in time. That could change at any point, right? Just want to say that in case you watch this video like a year from now. And with the Connected Soul Network membership, you can check it out. There'll be a link in the caption and you can see if it might be a good fit for you. We would love to have you. Don't mind my cat food feeder going off in the background, if you can hear that, because I was told earlier my microphone is very sensitive and picks up a lot of things. So I like to share what I do and how I can help people because I connect information, resources, tools, and events, and also the guides that are needed for people on their journey to be able to be supported and expand and grow and learn and achieve. So, if that sounds like something that you are looking for, we would love to have you join us in the membership. If not, we love to have you join us tuning in here. These are all recorded and put into the membership so that you can have them in a nice area to make sure that you don't miss any. But they are also on my social media as well. They're just a little bit more scattered around. Enough of that. I'm so excited to get to our guest today. Her name is Phoebe Fazio, and she is an intuitive business guide, award-winning speaker, and a #1 international best-selling author, summit host, and sound washing creator performer who uplifts and empowers healers and channelers to design, build, and sell their healing program so they can help more people with their divine gifts in alignment with their zone of genius and live the life that they have come here to live with ease and grace. I love that and I love her. Phoebe is a designer and facilitator of Channel Your Business, a training and coaching program that empowers and supports healers to be more visible, reach more people, and have a greater impact for a world that works for all. And the 90-day program where healers design, build, and sell their healing program. We're going to talk about that today. Sounds amazing. Phoebe has overcome her own debilitating stage fright and freed her voice, discovering techniques that help healers like you feel safe to be seen so that people can find you and benefit from your powerful gifts. And you can go from having a vision to actually living your vision. And I want to just say that although Phoebe works with guides, other healers, mostly, this is still going to be a very informative live if you don't have a healing or coaching business. So stay tuned and stick with us. With that being said, welcome, Phoebe. Yay! Hello.
Hello.
I love that we like didn't know it, but we matched.
In our own shade of green.
Yes, yes. I tend to wear green right now. I figured it was a really good color for me. And so as I watch videos back, I see like how color affects my skin tone. And so if anybody ever usually wears green, we're matching in some form. I like your green also, your shade too. I always like to start with so Phoebe is a new guide to the network. I forgot to say that, to the Connected Soul Network. Yay. She is a guide. Yay. And I'm super excited for that. So I always like to start with how I know people. So Phoebe and I were in the same coaching program, and we connected through there. And then she was actually, because you said it in your bio, and I was going to mention it, that I was able to participate as a guest in your summit, which was so cool. That was the first summit that I spoke in. And I got to see kind of the behind the scenes with you setting everything up. You did a phenomenal job, by the way. And
thank you.
What was the name of it again?
Channelers? Well, I did 2 different ones, the Global Channeling Summit.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's the World Healers Conference. I think it's been a few years. I did 2 of each, and haven't done them for a couple of years. So
yeah, but you are amazing at them, and you're so knowledgeable. I love what you're doing now, because you have been a very big help and inspiration and guidance for me. So I'm happy to be on this path and journey together. Tell us. So you talked about that you had debilitating stage fright. Let's start there. So this is going to be about voice and vision, because that is the title. Voice and vision in your business and life. I want to be specific about that. So if someone's like, well, I don't have a business, it doesn't matter. Your voice is like you in your life and is needed no matter what. You will get something by sticking around and watching and leaving with something. You'll get something. So tell us about how did you get started in this?
Well, it's such a long story, as you know, our lives are. They bring us to what we're doing. And the debilitating stage fright kind of came from my childhood, having a very, my dad was an alcoholic, and he was very critical. He was also a Harvard educated English teacher, college professor, right? So, and I was the youngest, 2 older brothers. So it was just really easier and safer to be invisible and to be silent. Anytime I said anything, I was criticized. I felt criticized anyway, and very embarrassed and shamed. So that's kind of the very beginning. And then I always had this interest in music. I sang in choirs from very early on, and started taking piano lessons pretty young. And with piano lessons come recitals, and I would get up to play my piece that was memorized and well practiced, and I knew it. And I'd get up there and start to play, and I put my hands on the keys, and it was the wrong chord. Like, I thought I put my hands in the right place, wasn't the right sound. And I'd try again, and it wasn't the right thing. And I ended up just running off the stage in tears, completely embarrassed. And even though it was other students and families, very friendly audience, and my teacher later encouraged me to go up there, but I couldn't. He was like, you can bring your music up, and I couldn't do it. And, it was just humiliating. I couldn't do it. And I did go on to be a music major. And in the process of being a music major, I thought, well, how am I going to do this with this stage fright thing that I have? So I went to therapy. I went to classes on how to, overcome my stage fright, and learned some great, techniques, visualizations, meditations, how to calm my body, a lot of different things. But what brought me into this work was something. So jump forward, like 20 years. Now I'm a music teacher, teaching choirs, and still have trouble playing the piano, but I can conduct huge groups of people singing songs. It's quite an interesting thing, but so I can relate if any of you have that kind of fear or have been ashamed or criticized for doing something and just couldn't do it anymore because of that kind of criticism. And so I taught, children, adults, all kinds of levels and so forth, and voice work privately and in groups and so forth. And I was doing that. It's right in my genius, doing the thing, and had an issue with a parent who was a friend. And that issue just exploded. And it became, to me, it became the betrayal that took me into the dark night of my soul. I was not religious. I was not spiritual. I didn't know what the dark night of the soul was, but there I was. And I went back into therapy because, like, okay, I think I need to talk to somebody about this. And a therapist was also an energy worker. And she brought in crystal bowls and opened my voice and guided me to keep opening and releasing, just moving that energy. I didn't even know what energy work was at the time. So, but I just knew that I felt better after working with her. And that was really the beginning. I started going to a spiritual center, learning about, all kinds of energy and affirmative prayers and the power of our words and visualizations, and all of that ties in together. And so, so being able to free my voice, and then being curious. People are like, oh, you're going to help so many people with your voice. And I was like, well, what does that look like? Am I going to hospitals and helping people with like, what am I doing? And so there's always this question of like, what does that look like? And getting that response of just do it. But what am I doing? And I was making these sounds I didn't understand. I thought I just called them weird sounds. And what I understood in that message of just do it was to have a daily practice of sound that I would make with my voice, just to kind of ground me and keep me focused. And I learned along the way that you can't heal the body unless the chakras are aligned. So that's always going to be the first thing. So I was like, okay, I'll just use my voice on my chakras every day. That's what I'll do. So I developed a voice expression practice using the 7 chakras. And then I later on 12/12. So you asked me if I'm a numerology person. I'm a little bit. On the date 12/12, between 12/12 and 12/21 is a portal. And it's a very powerful portal. And a spiritual friend of mine just sort of gave me a nudge and said, check into the 12 chakra system. And so I did. I went into meditation. There was a whole process. And so now I work with the 12 chakras. And I identified the sounds for me. You can look online and find out what they are, and they may be a little bit different. But that's what I work with. And I show people how to use their voice to align their chakras. And then how to use, for healers, how to use that process to support their business so that it's aligned. And
I love that.
And just more fun and, and feeling on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple follow-up questions. First of all, Dark Night of the Soul keeps coming up on every time I ask somebody, like, how did you get started? Like, what was your journey? They bring up the Dark Night of the Soul. So can you give us a quick definition of what that is in case someone's watching, they have no idea?
I see it as, because I've gone through it a few times. It's a passageway. It's a transformational passageway. So it's dark. Think about the cycle of the butterfly, right? So the caterpillar inside the cocoon, that's the dark night of your soul. It's very dark. It can be scary. It's hard to figure out what's going on. And the second time I went through it, I knew that there were people there. There were hands that would reach out for me. There were people holding lights for me. And that I knew. The first time I didn't even know what it was. So I didn't have any context for it. But I would hear it come up and I would start to understand. And of course, the healer that I was working with, told me what was going on. But I'd sit in a spiritual center and listen to a talk about the solstice. And this is the darkest night of the year, right? And so that was always the conversation that I would hear in their talk was the dark night of the soul. This can be that feeling sometimes every year when it comes around.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Like there's always some transformation in it. Like you're going to come out the other side a new person, a new version of yourself.
That's what I understand it to be. It's like a dark period. It's a catalyst of some sort. Something happens that kind of puts you in a very challenging time in your life. Or for me, it was very questioning. Like I was very unhappy. So it was challenging in the sense that I was just living the same day over and over again. And I was like, gosh, my soul is dead right now. Like, what is going on? And so I had that catalyst happen to me. And yeah, so it's like a catalyst, and it can happen multiple times because we're always moving, evolving, growing, leveling up, whatever you want to call it. So, okay. And then the other thing is just chakras. Like, can you explain what the chakras are in case? So I always think back to how when I started as an explorer, that's why I have two groups, is because I was an explorer and I still am, as we all are. If you are a lifelong learner, which most of the people I tend to communicate and attract are lifelong learners like myself, I had no idea what all these things were. And so I always like to go back in case someone's watching this, that this is their first time that they're hearing these terms, that they can know what the heck we're talking about.
Right. And I came across chakras in yoga. Just taking yoga classes, started to hear about them and being curious about them. So very simply, there's our energy centers. We're made up of energy. Everything is energy, right? So in our body, there are centers. There are 7 major ones, but there are a lot of others. So when you hear about the 7 chakras, those are the basic ones through the column of our body, and it connects us to the earth and above. Yes. So that's basically it. They're energy centers. They're seen as like wheels, kind of like the fan, like a ceiling fan with the blades. Each one has different blades. Each one is associated with a different color. In my world, I pay attention to the sound. There's a sound that can be associated with it. And then each one has different qualities as well. So there's a heart center, there's a throat, there's a brow, there's a crown. There's the root, which is the base of your spine, how you connect to the earth. And then I kind of went out of order, started from the heart, went up, but then you go to the
that's
bottom.
That's what's on camera, that's why.
Yeah. And then you go to the root on your base, and then the sacral, which is just below the belly button, and then this solar plexus just below the heart. So and then below your rib cage. So each one,
I have them right here. Hold on, where's it at? There it is. So I have it.
But there's the root and the sacral.
The whole thing anymore. Yeah. So each one has a
and you can see the petals. Some people see it as like a fan. Some it's like petals of a lotus flower. Yes. So how many petals? Each one has different number of petals.
Yeah, and each one represents something different, has a color, has a sound, has a quality, and it is an energy center in your body. So if your chakras are off, this is why the energy work is very important, because you can feel misalignment in your life, and that's what you were saying, is like your throat chakra was closed, and through your work you've opened it up, and now you're helping others to basically do the same.
Right. And the chakras can be out of balance in either way. They can be closed or they can be too open. So those are two basic ideas, but they can also spin. The wheel spins in various directions. So some people work in terms of like which way is it spinning and which way should it be spinning.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to it, and energy is always moving. So even if you find, somebody says, oh, your throat chakra is closed, it may be just in that moment it was closed. You may be protecting yourself for that moment, or you may
Yeah.
be feeling some emotion that you're trying not to express right now, or there's a lot of different things that can come up.
I just happen to have a sound bowl right here. So this is
Oh,
a gift
beautiful.
from someone, and it's the red one. So it's the root
The
chakra.
root. Mm-hmm.
Is it? I don't know the name. I'm not gonna try it.
I always forget the names.
Anyways, oh, it is
In
Muladhara.
Sanskrit.
Yes,
Yeah,
Muladhara.
Muladhara.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Muladhara. Yeah.
And then it's a sound bowl inside. So this frequency, this is not planned at all. And I don't know that
I didn't know you were going to pull that out.
I would just I got a nudge, like, hey, your sound bowl's right here. So this is red to represent that this attunes to, makes the sound of the frequency that will talk to your root chakra. I'm going to ding it and see if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Beautiful. Yeah, it cuts out a little bit at one
Does
point.
it? That's good.
Electronic, when we're recording, sometimes they don't keep ringing. But
when we talked about the sound bowls and having a sound bath by her therapist, that was also an energy worker, which I love, bringing the two worlds together. It's something like that, where if you've never attended one, it's these bowls that all play different sounds when being played. And I didn't do it, but you hit the bowl and it makes that one frequency, and then you will go around and it keeps the frequency going. And that sound is so powerful. I don't retain the scientific information of it, but I've had so many people on that, and I've seen so much stuff about it, about how our cells vibrate when sound happens, and like healings can happen, or relaxation, or peace, and all these different feelings that come with it. So
I
like to just
and what you shared was like a brass, like a Tibetan style bowl. Yes. And what I experienced were the crystal bowls, and they have a different quality to them, and not one isn't better or worse. It's just different. Yeah. And then they're alive too, because of the material. The crystals have a life of their own as well. So when you said the bowl was, you were getting a nudge. You're like, my crystal bowls tell me, oh, we want to go to the thing you're doing. Like, okay, you're coming along.
Yes, and you're right. So I don't know a lot about the bowls. Like I said, that was a gift. That's the first bowl that I have. And I don't really play them for anybody, more so just for myself. But the types of bowls are different, and they're used. It's very Eastern culture that they have been used for years and years and years. Yeah. So
ancient wisdom. Ancient.
Yeah. I know we are having a sound bath in the membership. I think it's in February. And then when you do your sound washing, we'll talk about that. That is with the bowls too. Is that kind of the same?
It depends. I mean, sound washing is my trademarked sound. Yes. And so I intuitively discover what is included in that. But very simply, it's my voice, and I channel different beings and their sounds.
Okay.
So it's, like a lot of times people will be like, there was some native thing. And there's at least one. He's my biggest guide. He is a big guy, and he channels through my voice. And he's a Cherokee medicine man that guides really the whole session usually. He's usually the one coming out in ceremony. So probably on the solstice ceremony when I do that, he may come through for that. I don't know exactly what sound is coming through. I never know. I get guided to do a thing and show up and ground myself and get present, and then let the sound out. So could be native, it could be Tibetan monks. So sometimes people hear that. Sometimes there's angelic sounds. Sometimes it sounds more like crystal bowls. Sometimes it sounds more astral, like undescribable sounds. And it doesn't really, like what you were saying about not knowing the science, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to know what's happening. But trusting that the sound that's happening in a bath or any situation that you're looking for some sort of shift in your being, that sound is going to be for your benefit, whatever
Yeah.
that is. You can set an intention and ask for that, or you can be like, oh, I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to be curious and open and feel what I feel.
I love that. Yeah. So I have not been to one of the sound washings yet, but we have one scheduled on the calendar, which we'll talk about in a minute. And I just assume that you use the bowl. So it's so cool to hear about the channeling. So my question is, can you talk about, so here's what I see happening. I see that a lot of people are in the spiritual closet. They have these divine gifts that they've been given and they just shove them down. They hide them because they're like, what the heck is this? What is happening to me? People are going to think I'm crazy. I'm getting messages for people. Like, I have seriously talked to so many people that's like, I talk to, like, people contact me from the other side.
Yeah.
I get like random hits for strangers in the grocery store. Like, you should buy these Band-Aids tonight. You're going to need them later. All of these things, right? But it's been that it's so, I don't know if taboo is the right word, but like not open, that people don't share about it. And I feel like part of my mission is to be sharing about these things and bringing forward the people who have stepped into their gifts to help other people feel normal. Because we all have something, multiple gifts like these, and maybe you don't realize it, or you haven't opened up to it yet, and maybe you never will, and that's okay too.
That's
But
okay too.
yeah, so can you talk just briefly about the channeling? Like, what is channeling, and like how could it show up in someone's life? Like, how did this happen for you? You kind of touched on it, but like just a little bit further in the channeling piece of it.
Yeah, and I want to say something about the weirdness of it and the hesitancy to talk about it with people. I mentioned that I wasn't spiritual before. We didn't go to church. We didn't talk about God. We didn't talk about anything spiritual or angels or any of that kind of stuff. So I didn't have any childhood experience with any of this kind of thing. And so, yeah, those first sessions with the energy healer, I called it hocus pocus. I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, but I feel amazing afterwards. Like, she's just this hocus pocus. She moves her hands around. I don't know what that is, but but I feel amazing. And so I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. And then these sounds start coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And she's like, those are your sounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not supposed to do that. Well, you're going to help people with it. Okay. I don't understand. And so I get it, And so my journey with exploring the sounds was to do it. And then I got to a place where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to try it in front of other people, which was really hard because, the stage fright thing. And I don't know, they're going to throw tomatoes at me or something. I don't know. So the first time I saw in a meditation sound washing, I didn't know what that was. So I went to my journal and I asked, what is sound washing? And they said, that's what you do. Okay. So what is it that I do? And then they looped it back around and said sound washing.
You're all great. Thanks. That clarifies everything.
All right. I'm back to just testing it out and trying to figure it out. And that same night, I was in a circle of friends, spiritual circle. And, it was great. It was so synchronistic. They're like going around the circle saying, we all knew each other. So he was like, how about if we each say something we don't think anybody knows about us? And so I shared that I apparently do something called sound washing. And they're like, ooh, what's that? I'm like, I don't know. We're going to find out. Because it's something I don't know about myself. So,
Yeah.
and then, throughout that ceremony, he's like, okay, and here are the things we're going to do tonight on our ceremony. And maybe we'll have some sound washing. And I was like, yeah, maybe.
Nothing
So
like
I
a little
had that
nudge.
yeah, and I had the opportunity. I just got up and stood in the center of the circle and put my hands out and just started making sounds like I've been doing in my car, in my shower, and wherever for myself, right?
Yeah.
So I just let it all come out. And then I let people share what they experienced. And that and the tears, like those God tears. Like I'm not crying, but there's tears just flowing down my face. So it was, and I was wet by the time I was done with this. It was only a few minutes. It wasn't like an hour-long thing or anything.
Yeah.
And people were profoundly affected by it. And people that have meditated for years said, I've never been in that kind of a meditative state that quickly before.
Wow.
And
The
so,
power of the gifts. I love that.
yeah.
And
And the
that's
channeling came after I started sharing it more. So I had
Mhm.
friends online. I'm like, I don't know what I do. I want to try this on some people. So we got on phone calls. We got on wherever. We didn't have Zoom back then, but we'd get on calls and I would do it for them. And then they would give me feedback. They'd say what they felt or what they saw or what they heard. And every time I did it, it was completely different. And then along the way, I was learning Reiki and I became, Reiki master. And I started teaching people how to use their voice. And they were like, what if you put it with your Reiki? And I'm like, what if we did that? So started playing with that and see what happens there. So then it became this whole modality that I added into the energy work that I was already doing. Yeah. And then the channeling just became like, oh, that's what I started to notice some of the similar sounds and then new sounds would come in, like I'm working with somebody and this language came out and they're like, what was that language? And I'm like, I don't know. I could tell you basically what the message is, but I don't know what the language was. And
Yeah.
she could tie it into like, oh, it sounded like my family's heritage. Like it felt ancestral. And I had never done that. And I haven't done that one since. It was just for her. And
Oh,
so I
wow.
learned a little bit about light language. That's a channeled language that's done through the voice and hands, and it's also written. And so I just realized that, these sounds are channeling. I've opened myself through the, the energy work I learned, which is called Reiki. I open up that channel of love and light, universal love and light. So I know I'm safe. I'm in the light. I'm just receiving this energy that's coming
Yeah.
out as sound. And then I can decipher some of the messages, and some of the people I do it for will decipher what it means for them. And sometimes it doesn't mean anything. There's no like translation of it, but a feeling of calm or relaxation or excitement, that it can go either way. So
Yeah. I like it.
yeah.
I channel too. I didn't realize it,
Yeah.
but I get to speaking and I'll just be talking. And then all of a sudden someone will be like, what did you say? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I hope you were taking notes. That's why I record all my meetings now because things just start
Yeah.
coming out and flowing. And it's like, it's not necessarily me. It's
Yeah.
a being, a higher power. So channeling is basically when you're connecting with something outside spiritually of yourself, and it's being flowed through you, but it is not necessarily you. So
Right. I find myself over here while this is happening. And
yeah.
I'm perfectly aware of what's happening. And I remember some of it, but I don't remember all of it. I could tap into different parts of the session or something, or different what was happening at each chakra or something like that. I'll say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my hands were doing this, which tells me, and I'll get more information to share as I kind of unpack what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but channeling, yeah, it's where we kind of get out of the way and allow it. And we have to give permission. I think, like you said, some of us have packed it away because it scared us, or somebody said, don't do that, and scared us or shamed us or something. And certainly, with past lives, there were times when we were killed for some of these gifts that we're starting to remember, and they're being revealed to us. And I feel that this is a time when many of us are remembering our gifts and
Yes.
realizing that we need to be doing this. We
Yes. There's
need,
a huge
we are,
awakening happening right now.
yes. Yeah.
So if you're watching this, you're probably part of it, whether you want to be or not. Hello, thank you, and welcome.
You're in a good place. You're in a
Welcome
good
to the
in
other
good
side.
hands.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
in good
you're in good
hands.
hands here.
It was exciting for me when I look back and I see that it was my spiritual awakening. Mine was just a bucket list, and that took me on my path and my fun and my adventure.
Great.
Okay, I can talk more about that, but we have so much still to cover and only some time left. Okay, so let's talk about, since we're already talking about the sound washing, let's talk about the upcoming event that we have collaborating together, me as the Connected Soul Network and you as Phoebe Fazio. You are going to do a signature talk with a sound washing that is titled Use Your Voice to Grow Your Business. Tell us more about that. Well, first, if you're a member of the Connected Soul Network, Explorer or Guide. Obviously, the primary focus is a guide, but if you feel called as an explorer, you are more than welcome to come to this event also. It's free to attend. If you're a non-member and you're like, well, I don't know that I want to join the membership, but I want to go, join us. It's $15. And okay, now you go and tell us more about it.
No, I definitely, and my feeling is that we're all healers. Whether you're
I agree.
putting people on a table and putting your hands on them, or you're just talking to them in the grocery store, you're how to heal ourselves, right? And that's all healers do, is they remember that you know how to heal yourself.
Yes.
So
maybe they just don't have a business yet. Because I agree with you. I think that everybody at some point is like stepping into something, their passion, their gifts, their whatever. And so it's just if they don't have a business yet.
And if you don't have a business yet, you're in the business of life.
Yes.
So you have a business, right? We're all in the business of life. So whether you're, not a healer or not don't have a business, you're welcome to come, and you will get something from it. Even if it's like, oh, I've never heard of that before. Come and explore. And I love that title, because I love exploring and adventuring in many ways. And it can be as subtle as just watching a talk even. But I don't just talk. I guide people through actually doing it with me. So come and explore some sound. We'll be making some very, very basic sounds. I don't want to scare anybody away. We're not going to be singing opera or anything like that. And you don't have to have any experience. Especially if you've ever been told not to sing, I'm going to encourage you to come. You'll be on your side of the, technology. I won't be judging you. Nobody else can judge you. So come and see what's there for you. And what we'll be looking at, though, is a couple of the 7 chakras and making the sound and tuning into the particular energy center and how that aligns with a business. So what part of a business is the heart chakra? What kind of sound can we make to support that part of our business and that part of our physical being? Because sometimes, we all show up in business as ourselves. Our business is a part of us. And so we need to do the inner work. We need to do the physical body work on ourselves and show up for for clients to help other people. So it is business or life for sure. And I'll walk you through exactly how to make the sounds and how, like I said, how it works with your physical being, your emotional being, your spiritual being, as well as in your business.
I love that. And it is so important because we use our voice in every aspect of life, being a parent, being a partner, your family, your friends, your career, whether you have your own business or you're working at someone else's business. And so it's like opening your voice can impact you in so many ways that you might not even know. And I feel like a lot of people are aware that they would like to speak up for themselves more and to be more vocal, to say no, to say a hell yes, to have boundaries. So it's going to be use your voice to grow your business. And that will be a signature talk and sound washing with Phoebe Fazio and me, the Connected Soul Network. I'll be there for hosting and support. She's doing all the heavy lifting. She's not heavy lifting because it's your gift. So it's like that together. So it's going to be Tuesday, January 17th, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. And I don't have the registration link yet, but you can keep an eye out. Of course, I'll post it when I do. So just make sure you're following along. If you're not on my email list, you definitely want to hop on. I'll put that. Actually, I don't post that anymore. I need to do that. Email link, Jen. Write that down. Okay. Always take a note. Let's talk about, so we have a couple more events. We have, you are going to be hosting 2 co-working sessions. So this is for explorers and guides, also membership events. $15 if you want to join us as a non-member, free for members. And Phoebe has done co-working sessions before, and it was in my mind and on my list. So when it got brought up when we met, I was like, yes, like, first of all, I use this for admin time. And second of all, like, I think it's great to have somebody run it that it has the experience. And it's going to be kind of exploring.
Oh yeah. And there's nothing about sound or healing or anything. Anybody can come. Bring the thing that you least want to do, but you most want to get done.
I love that. Hold on. Let me write that down. Bring the thing you least want to do, but most need to get done.
Yep.
Okay. I love that.
Because there's so many words for this. Co-working, there's body doubling, they call it. So this is, and parallel working. So that just means that you're showing up, you're making a commitment to get something done. Maybe you don't even know what you're bringing, and just grab it on your way. Like, I don't like to do my bookkeeping stuff. That's usually when I'll bring that, and I'm going through my bank account and I'm writing it all down and making sense of what the money in and the money out. And, that's not my favorite thing to do. So co-working is a good time to do it, because we're just going to go around real quick, say what's your task, and then give you time to do it. Some people like music, some people like silence. We'll work out how that's going to look. And then for a set amount of time, we'll check back in and how's it going? Yeah, I'm getting a lot done. Or no, I went and did dishes. And that's okay too. You had to do that too. So whatever it is that you get done is a success. Right. So invite everyone to come, bring something to do. And
we did talk about having the breakout room. So we're going to test this out. So we're going to
test out some things.
Yes. The first one is December 27th, 1:30 to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Her and I are both in Pacific time in California. And we talked about, we'll see who shows up. And then I liked your idea that sometimes, like, we need to have brainstorming or processing I'm a verbal processor. I think most of us are. That's using our voice. And we could go in 2 breakout rooms. One is like the silent, just doing your own work to yourself. One is maybe you need some help with some stuff. So,
and we can even pair off if you just want to bounce ideas off of each other and just have one person that you do that with. There's a lot of different ways we're going to run this.
And then the second one, we'll have a better idea of what kind of people liked, and maybe it's just, I don't know. We're just here to serve. So it's January
Yeah.
3rd, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. These are all going to be, actually, I think one of these is up already for registration because it's next week. And the other one will be up shortly. And then you can always check the event page. Also, let's talk about, oh my gosh, we have so much still. There's so much. So tell us about
So many
your
good
book.
things.
Does your book and your program, like, should we talk about them separate or can we group them together? Let's start
Well,
with
they kind of lead into each other.
Okay.
They're not, exclusively, you don't have to go from one to the other, but there is an invitation to go into the program from the book.
Let's start with your book. What is your book title?
It's called Voice and Vision. Use your voice to bring your vision into reality. Something like that. I don't know. I'm still working on the title. The book is written but not published yet. It's in its editorial stages, and I'm very excited about it. It's part of my story, but it's mostly about getting you moving through the voice, and aligning your chakras, learning how does that work. There are sections where it's about voice, but it's also an opportunity to dive into what is in the way of whatever's going on with your voice. And so an opportunity to do journaling, to go exploring, to dive into, what is that? And then to make the sound and let the sound be the soothing, the salve that soothes that part of you. And there's also other exercises beyond sound. So journaling exercises, there's always an invitation to talk with a friend or someone in the group. You're invited to join the community. And so there's a lot of that. And then there's also the vision piece. So I guide you through a visioning process, a couple different visioning processes where you're inviting your highest vision for this particular time. And whether it's like a visual vision or a felt vision or a knowing, or, maybe it's even a questioning. It's okay. A lot of times we get into like, well, I don't have a vision because I don't see a picture. So I don't have a vision. But I know that I want to do this thing. All right. Well, what does that thing look like when you're done? Oh, then you can describe it. And you're like, okay, that's your vision. But there's a beautiful meditation included in this. And then using the voice to come into that vision and to soothe the parts of you that are resisting that. They talk about resistance being, an indicator that we're on the right path. But sometimes it's hard to move through that resistance. Or do I let it stop me? What do I do with this? And so the sounds can be very, very helpful in that process as well.
Awesome.
And then we use the visioning and this toning. We get a lot deeper as the book goes on. But the whole time I'm inviting you to make the sounds and for you to find a safe place to make sounds where you don't feel judged or criticized or anything.
I love that. Sound is so important. I love going in the car by myself. I just sing out loud, and I make weird sounds now that I think about it. I'm like, I fart around. I'm like,
Exactly.
So if anybody's interested in the book, it's not out yet. It's upcoming. And I will post a link that, or I have already posted the link that you can get onto the list and be first to hear about when it is officially released. Okay, we have only 9 minutes left. So I'm like, no pressure, but
no pressure.
The biggest thing is your 90-day program, the 7 proven steps to design, build, and sell your healing program. I know that's not the actual name, but
well, that's a work in progress too. I'm building these two things. The 90-day came out of my year-long program channel your business, and people for various reasons couldn't commit to the whole year and really have been asking for something more succinct. And how do I just get going? And so this is how you can design your program that you can sell and you can get helping people right away, even if you're not even exactly sure what it is that you do, or if you've had a healing business for years or decades even, this might be a new piece of your business that you'd like to include, something that you can offer online or in person. It's completely of your design, and it's based on that vision that you pull through, and we use our voices along the way as well.
That's awesome. And to anybody that's watching, if you have like fill any pool or if you've ever thought about having your own business, this would be a great course to take because what I have found in my multiple years of getting a business started, not knowing what I was going to do or seeing this huge vision and not knowing how to bring it down to reality, action is like the biggest thing that actually brings clarity. So I would sit and be like, oh, I need to bring all this clarity first. But it wasn't until I get into action and everything in the right time. But it wasn't until I actually started taking action that clarity truly, really came. So that made me think of that when you were talking about just getting started, even if you don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah. And this course is a done with you type of course. So it's not like I'm just going to teach you how, and then you're going to go and do it. It's like, here's what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. And here's how. Let's do it now. So we're going to be working through and building the pieces of your program. So it's not, like I said, it's not a, go work it out, figure it out. Here's the steps. But we'll be doing it together. So I'm really excited about it.
That sounds awesome. If someone's interested in that, how would they get a hold of you, or what? Like, how could they sign up for that? Just email you?
Get on the wait list for the book.
Okay.
And then you'll be hearing more about that.
Perfect. And you talked about you're going to be doing a sound washing series as we're wrapping up here. If people want to experience the sound washing, Phoebe's just going to be doing these on either in her Facebook group or her personal page, but I'm going to post
it's going to be everywhere, all my socials. That's the plan anyway. And now you're holding me to it.
I know.
See, with Jennifer, if you mention you're thinking about doing a thing, she's going to be like, and you're doing this thing. And we just told the world about it.
My number 4 strength in StrengthsFinder is activator. And so I'm like, oh, I'm really good at activating people to get shit done and like do with it. Oh, you're thinking about that? Great. Can I sign people up for it? Because I probably know someone who wants or needs that.
Right. So, I mean, and that's what's so beautiful about this network. Is that I just, like you said, take action. I took action. I said yes to this network. And now I'm really in action and in flow of what I've been stuck on, and not doing. Now I'm doing it. So,
oh my God, thank you. Live testimonial.
Yeah. So if you're thinking you're going to come to events and you're watching this, come to an event. And if you're thinking about joining us, it's a good thing. whether you're the healer, or one of the guides, or you're an explorer, either way, you're going to get great value inside this network. If you go to a couple of events, you're going to pay for it. So it's definitely value. How many events did you say in January?
Not in January. I don't know how many coming specifically in January, but I have already counted about 40 events. Those are with my 2 events a month. Those will expand as I grow also. And the network grows, but and I've only spoke with a couple guides to start getting events set up. I still have a whole lot of guides and plus new ones that'll be coming on.
So much information and not just information. These aren't just like, let me tell you about this thing. It's like taking you through it and ceremony. Your calls to connect feels like a ceremony to me. It's a really beautiful space.
Especially the one that happened yesterday with the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Phoebe, for all of that. I appreciate it. All
Oh,
right.
my pleasure. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, we better wrap it up before I get cut off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know we could keep talking. This is why we have to do multiple
Yep.
interviews, because there's still so many more questions and things we can talk about. But
Yeah.
all of the information is in the caption above wherever you are watching this video. If you look in the caption, all of the downloads, the links, the contact information, the events, the membership for mine, her events coming up, that will all be there for you to be able to connect in whatever way and whatever type of event feels best for
Yeah.
you.
Don't let it overwhelm you. Just pick the ones that are calling to you,
Thank
or
you.
just
Yes.
pick one.
Yes.
Start with one.
One thing can make a huge difference. That's why my bucket list changed my life, because I just started doing one thing at a time that I had always wanted to do, but I hadn't done. And it started to open doors and create new possibilities and put me out of my comfort zone. And it's just one thing.
Ah,
Like, that's it. I love your cat in the background. Hi,
that-
kitty.
I was wondering which one. And that's Rainbow.
Rainbow. I love it. Somebody was being very vocal during our session here.
Yes, that was probably midnight. And the
Midnight.
dog was being vocal.
I
He had to
know.
have
I've
words
talked
with
to
me.
Phoebe
My
multiple times, and we never got the animal sounds. So it's like you've brought out their sounds within them. They also wanted to share and be.
They usually show up on my recorded sound
They
washing.
wanted to be
So
visible. Anyways, thank you, Phoebe, so much, and thank you,
thank you,
everybody.
Jen.
If you're watching this, we appreciate you, and we hope to see you at an event or in the membership soon. Have an amazing day. Until then, bye.